to another episode of the Truest Crime. This case in particular is a somewhat famous case, and I know there probably are not a lot of people who know about this case, but this case is the case of 9-year-old Amber Hagerman. And Amber Hagerman is the little girl responsible for the Amber Alert System. And the Amber Alert System stands for America's Missing Broadcasting Emergency Response. And this system allows the public to know that there is a missing child, and this system will describe the make and the color of the car that the abductor was driving. It will then give a description of the child, and then it will give a description for the abductor. So there are 3 criteria that an Amber Alert system will give to you, and based on that, the public will then keep an eye out for the child, the person, or the car. And obviously if there's any suspicious activity going on that maybe is out of the ordinary, then it will help with that. So it is definitely a very helpful system that we have set in place for missing children. So let's get right into this case. So sit down, grab a snack, and let's take a deep dive into the Truest Crime. This case is definitely one that I think a lot of parents should explain to their children in a way that they can understand. With Amber, she lived with her mother Donna, her father Richard, and her little brother Ricky. They all lived in Arlington, Texas, and they were a fairly tight-knit family. And Donna and Richard loved their daughter. She was the oldest out of her and Ricky. Ricky was just a very small child when she went missing. And I definitely think that you guys will be interested in knowing a lot more about this case. On January 15th of 1996, Amber would be playing outside with her little brother Ricky. Ricky was playing in the front lawn of their home, and Amber was riding her bike. And at some point, Ricky would see somebody take his sister, and he would run into the house and tell his mom and dad what had happened. And obviously when they came outside, Amber was nowhere to be found, and it would take about 4 days before they would find Amber. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of information about this case, so I am going just based on what I have. And there's also not really any information on her abductor / killer. And the reason for that is because they don't know who it is. Her case is still unsolved. And that's unfortunately all the information that has been given to the public. My thoughts on this case is that stranger danger is very, very much a thing. And if you don't teach your child about stranger danger, there are a lot of ways that your child can be hurt. And especially with how prevalent social media is, and the fact there are more and more children on social media, it becomes a lot more dangerous. Obviously, in 1996, there wasn't a lot of social media that was being used, but rather people basically just driving around and kidnapping children. And I mean, it's obviously the same today, but because of the fact that social media plays a part in it, there's more likely of a chance that a child will encounter a stranger on the internet and not realize that they are not who they say they are. I think that there are a lot of cases out there that, are not as lucky as, some of the missing child cases where they have people that are still fighting for them and still trying to get some sort of justice out of the case. And, it's really sad to say that some people don't have the support that they should have had so that way their case can be solved. And there's another missing child case that I did very early on, which was the JonBenet Ramsey case. And her case is 20 plus years old, and her family is still fighting for her. Her dad and her brother, well, one of her brothers, is still trying to solve her case. And with that case, there were multiple people that were coming out and saying that they did it, and it was then proved to not be true, so they had to get rid of those statements. And it was just something that people were trying to make something quick off of the case. But with Amber Hagerman, not a lot of people know who she was, and nobody really knew where the Amber Alert came from. And as I stated, Amber Hagerman was the one that the Amber Alert is based off of. And with the Amber Alert system, it is very, very important because it gives a description of the car that the abductor might have been driving. It gives a description of the child, and it gives a description of the abductor themselves. And it allows us to really, really, really look and make sure that, we're not just seeing things. And that if we're seeing something that is out of the ordinary and that, matches the description of the Amber Alert, we can then, maybe help this child and not have them be another true crime story. And that's something that we really need to look at, is there are so many children who end up becoming true crime cases, and we don't want that. We want to be able to find these children and make sure that they get back to their family safe and sound. That's the most important thing. While yes, my channel is mainly to give these children who were not as lucky, it gives them a voice, and it allows me to, tell their story and make sure that people know who they were. Like, but I want to make sure that, the kids who do go missing and that are luckily found alive and well, that's all I can ask for, is that they're returned to their family safe and sound. Well, again, unfortunately, the cases that I'm reporting on, they're not as lucky. And that's a really sad statistic. Now, this is where I'm going to end today's video. I really do hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video and that you learned a little bit more about why the Amber Alert system exists. And I am really thankful that I get to tell Amber's story and let you guys know more information about her, because I don't want her to be forgotten. I, want her family to be able to get justice for her someday, and the more that I can tell her story, the more that might be possible. But I do genuinely appreciate you guys watching this video, and I really hope that you guys want to watch more of my videos. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as it helps me make more videos like this for you guys. So, I will see you guys on the next episode of The Truest Crime.